Hey guys, welcome back to another tier list video on Library of Ruina. And today we're gonna continue on with Start of the City. As you can see, there are a bunch of Start of the City key pages. Now, it's gonna take us quite a long time. The Urban Nightmare the recording took me 50 minutes, but after cutting it down, I think I reduced it to around 30 minutes. Not sure about this one. It's gonna be like the recording might take an hour or more, and then I don't know. We'll see it when we get there. Okay, I think I should move these guys together. Yai's page. No. Bayard is here. Yai is here. And then Alan is the Night Owl. We're gonna do all the single ones in the end, including Xiao as well. Okay, Xiao is here. And then Yan. We have the cloning people. We have Mew here. This is the office before that. And then we have Carlos. Okay, so this guy can go. Okay, I'm gonna put all of the general receptions on the top. Probably have to cut that down. Okay, so we have Carlos, and then after Carlos, after the thumb, we go to the index. What are those called? The index somethings. I don't think they tell me what they are. Does the game tell me? Yes, the index proxies, and then we have Yan. I changed my mind. We're gonna do it like this. Go by from left to right, and then after the most left one with the thumb and the index, we go over to the Argalia blue reverberation. So we have the smoke dudes, we have the red mist and purple tear, and then on the middle right we have the cells line. We have this, forget his name. Okay, the thumb, put it up here. These are like, they all seem like they belong to the same, whatever, it's fine. And then we have cell in the end on that line, and then on the right side we have these guys with the energy, and then these guys with the energy, and then thumb can go here. Alright, and then last we will take a look at Bina's page. So we have ordered it all, and now we're gonna take a look at each of them individually. So yeah, I think this is the first 1v1 fight that I've experienced in the game. I mean, apart from the all the way back in the beginning with Canard, grade 1 fixer. I think he's a pretty good just a one page bleed deck. He does have a lot of bleed. The Carver of Scars offensive dice on the first combat page. The character uses each scene gain additional effect on hit, inflict 2 bleed, and toughness at emotion level 1 or above, gain 1 protection and stagger protection at the start of the scene. The amount increases to 2 at emotion level 3 and 3 at emotion level 5. And rupture wound deals +3 damage against enemies with bleed. So you can actually use this with all the previous bleed decks that you have at your disposal. So things like, I would want to say, actually, yeah, like Eugene's deck, maybe like you can do that. Eugene, or just the, what's that office called? The Shi Association, or the Kurokumo clan, the Sayo and Young's page. All those, like, they have bleed, or even like slash damage that inflicts bleed, that also works. So pretty nice page. You can use it, like this is a good page that you can just use when you first get it. This is why I think a lot of the suggestions on the subreddit, they are just very leaning towards getting these general reception pages first in the Star of the City level. If you at least do this, do the general receptions right after you beat your first Star of the City reception, the storyline receptions, you just go straight towards trying to complete as many of the general receptions as possible. You can actually get to have like some of the good pages like this guy that I think you only need one page to trigger this. For the other ones, you need 2 and then 3. There are a total of 6 general receptions here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and Ujat for 6. Just very good page overall. Just to propel yourself as almost as a middle sort of page that is strong enough for you to beat the next storyline reception, and you can continue your game to like get those better pages later on. And then I think the Ujad is it's a 3-page one, and then I think we have Alan. Alan has it's a very good Pierce deck. He can be good if you build him solely for Pierce. Apart from Mercy, which doesn't do much, but for Stiletto, Pierce dice power +2, blunt and slash dice power -2. Yeah, you just need a lot of Pierce combat pages so that you can actually take advantage of this. Or if you have any other dice with blunt and slash, you're just making it difficult for yourself to actually win those clashes. Of course, the defensive dices and the dodge or evade dices, they don't change. Then there is the chink in one's armor. When using a melee combat page, if this character's speed is greater than this target's by 3 or more, destroy a block die the target has. So you want to build a lot of speed dice that increases your the speed pages that increases your speed, and then you want to lower the speed of the opponent. So that's like the general idea of how to build a page a deck for Alan. But overall, it's okay. Why am I going? Yeah, I guess I like overall it's good, but it's a little bit tricky to build a deck around it, because it's not as like the bleed where bleed is almost, at this point there are a lot of resources for bleed, but for the speed and the what is that called? Let me just check. Bind and haste. So the haste deck is kind of a little bit finicky because you don't have that many haste cards for that purpose. Like for the slash, for example, like the slash and bleed deck, there is even a page that you can use the class and respect from the thump that you can use to restore 2 light, but it also has inflict 2 bleed. So, and it's also a slash dice, so you get the slash and bleed synergy as well as you get the light gain from it. So that is like it's a very good card for that purpose. But like for the haste and the bind deck, there isn't anything like that. So there is a bit of a little bit of a narrow of a choices of cards, and also because you have to use Pierce dice as well. It's the choices is too narrow. I'm just gonna put these guys here. There's no real reason to use these anyways. You just have a lot of choices that you can use. Like why would you use any of these blue pages when you have like purple and yellow pages that are at your disposal? Next, we have the Ujat page. Ujat is, I think, the passive Mirage is very good. It's like you use it and then you probably won't get staggered, but of course, eventually you will get staggered if you continue to lose clashes. So this is like for the staggered regeneration, and then just preventing yourself from getting staggered. Very good page. And on top of that, you do get 3 of them, and then you can use that passive onto 3 of your other pages of your choosing. And of course, as a page itself, you can use it for the same reason, and you can equip it with any other passive that you might want to use. So very good page overall, and I think I'm going to just put it on A. It's not technically, it's not S tier. Of course, there are a lot of pages that are S tier in this, so it's not at the level of those pages. And then we have, I think we have Ruina first, and then Yai, and then Bayard. Ruina, I'm gonna put it on A because it's what do you call that? The light regeneration is very good. What does this say? If the character suffers 1 or more one-sided attack in scene, restore 1 light. And policy form at the end of the scene, restore all stacks of a random status element. And that includes only feeble, disarm, or bind that would be inflicted to the character next scene. You're basically immune to feeble, disarm, or bind. Life insurance at the end, untransferable at the end of the scene if the character has 30% or less HP and a copy of life insurance to hand. And the life insurance is a mass attack that deals, I think it's like not that much damage, but I think it does restore some HP. So it's quite a good card to be used. But you do need to be at 30% or lower. So there's some trade-off there, but overall, like as a supporting page, it's a very good one when you first get it. And of course, I'm talking about like you get it and then you use it immediately, it's good. But then if you get it and then you unlock everything else in the Star of the City, then you're probably not gonna use it for the ensemble fight. So it's like, I'm just saying that it's very good when you first get it, and then you can start using it to beat like the proxies, or to beat the maybe you can even use it to beat the Red Mist. The second fight with Ciel, I mean the first fight with Ciel, not the second fight. The first fight with Ciel. Okay, next we have Yai. I'm not sure about this one. Like because I haven't used it much, since it's like one of those pages that I'm like, I just haven't used it at all. Even though it's a smoke page, I'm just like, okay, it's a smoke page, but at this point I already have all my smoke pages set up. So it's just another smoke page, although it does have its own unique page, its own unique page that itself. So let me see here. We have, oh yeah, I forgot to mention this, but these guys, they have the speed 3 passive, a speed die slot +1, and gain an additional speed die at emotion level 3. So at emotion level 3, you're supposed to get an additional speed die, but instead you get 2. So that would actually help you do more in general. So other than that, this Yai has smoke overflow at the end of the scene. If the character has 8 or more smoke, gain 1 strength next scene. Excess supply. If the character has 10 or more smoke, deal +3 damage with attacks. Immediate repair when staggered, recover from stagger, and fully recover stagger resist. I didn't know about this. I actually just read it just now, and okay, that's actually really good. If you have immediate repair, you are basically just not caring about getting staggered, and it's only once per act, but I mean it would help you a lot, because once you're staggered, you're basically just a sitting duck. Madness. At the start of the scene, gain one of the following effects. What? At the start of the scene, gain one of the following effects. I think it's 2 strength, 2 haste, 2 endurance, or 5 fragile. Okay, so there's that downside to it. You have immediate repairs. Put some like health regeneration, like the health hauler passive. Put the mind hauler passives on this guy, and then you're pretty good. You're just pretty good. So I will put this here with Ruina. Oh no, wrong page. Bayard, I think it's a little bit more finicky because of the where is it? There's a passive, so oh no, it's not a passive, it's a page, it's a combat page. His he has a combat page that says ready position, become immobilized this scene, gains 3 strength next scene, add a copy of pinpoint breakthrough to hand. And the pinpoint breakthrough, I think, uses up all your stagger and deals a percentage of that of your stagger to the enemy, and then you become staggered the turn after. So you're just taking a break, attacking for a lot, and then taking a break, and then attacking for a lot. So something like that. But I find him I find taking a break to be iffy. It's good for 1 turn and you're not doing anything the next turn, which is a little bit worrying sometimes, because if the enemy has more speed than you and they target Bayard, he's not countering those attacks and potentially avoiding some of damage. So anyways, of course I believe that there is a good way to build this deck, but I'm not sure how that is accomplished. If of course there are some guys out there that do have those do have this deck build. So yeah, in my opinion though, it's kind of finicky, like with the Allen page. Okay, next we finally have the Thumb, which are one of the good, which is I think the only, I mean not the only, but one of the good ranged decks or ranged pages. Kalos, probably the best range page besides Bina, but Kalos has ammo supply, which comes with almost with every single ranged deck. The boss's orders. At the start of the scene, give 1 protection to 2 random allies. 3-fold tenacity. Every 3rd offensive dice gain 1 power. Starting with the 4th scene, all offensive dice gain +1 power instead. So okay, I didn't know about this, but that's actually pretty nice if you're going for the long haul. And that's it, actually. That's it. That's it for those passives. But he can be a good range deck or range page for some ranged damages. Of course, put Lyrical in here that has the unused effect of all allies deal +2 damage with their offensive dice next scene. That as long as you hit, you're doing a lot of damage. and of course all of the other ranged cards, ranged combat pages. So Kalos, pretty good. I think I will put it. I find that, like in my opinion, that all of the ranged decks are not as, they're just a little, either I'm not building correctly or there's something wrong with what how I play, but I find them just lacking a little bit compared to the melee pages. So it might be just me, but I will just put him on the A tier for now. For the other guys, I think with these three, what's their names? Boris, Catril, and Dennis. Boris has Grit, which reduces incoming damage. That is a pretty good one. And then Catril has, Boris is not ranged, but Catril and Dennis are. Catril has, when playing a ranged combat page, its first offensive die gains +1 power, and Dennis has additional supplies. Every time the character exhausts 3 ammunition, add a random animation to hand at the end of the scene. So in the choosing from these two, I think Dennis has the upper edge because of the extra ammunition, and when you're playing a ranged deck, especially with the thumb here, the ammunition is really key to building a good, like having enough and sufficient ammunition to cycle your deck over and over again. On top of that, you of course need the guy called Hanafuda's passives, and then like some discard synergies. You need the discard synergies to make the whole deck work. This discard synergy is very key here. So out of these three, I will put like this. So Dennis and the Boris actually does a lot of things because of his combat page. He has a really good combat page discipline. So it's unaffected by power gain or loss, and that includes the enemy's combat page as well. And this also rolls, its last die rolls 3 times. So that's some damage, some more damage, but it's not like it's some guaranteed damage, but it's not like insane or anything. But it's a great page. I think he's deserved to be at B rank just because of that. And then moving up, we have the proxies, the index proxies. They invaded the library, and then we have to fight them. When I fought them in the beginning, I think I just beat them the first time. It wasn't that big of a deal, but they are still pretty good. All of them have their own unique combat pages. The combat page that unlocks when they have the 6th unlocked potential. Like when they play 6 unique combat pages. So I will put, like, in my opinion, this guy is probably the best. What's his name called? I keep I'm not very good with names. So Esther, Hubert, and Gloria. Esther, I think it has the best key page because that key page reduces the power of the enemy's key page by, I think, 10 or 20. Let me see here. I think it's 10, and that is a lot. Reduces by 12 power of all opponent's dice clashing against this by 12. So they have to be clashing against this. If it's one-sided attacks, it's not gonna work. And this card only has 1 dice and 1 counter dice. So of course, like, you and the counter dice only works on like one-sided, like fully one-sided attacks, and a card that is one-sided, like a whole page that is one-sided instead of like a one-sided attack that's on the same page. So but it's still good. Like the 1 to 5 roll on the page is fine, because of the 12 power decrease. So I will put this guy here. Yeah, I'll put this guy here. I think Gloria with his mass attacks is pretty good. This guy, I think I will just put this guy here. Little bit weaker than the other two, but not that much weaker. I'll put it like it's almost on the middle between A and B. And then we have Yan. Of course, we'll put Yang on the first here because I think he is probably the best support that you can have. Him acting as a support is like one of the best ones that you can get. I think like besides maybe if I scroll down, like besides this guy, what's his name? What is his name? Nikolai. Besides Nikolai, Yan is probably one of your other choices for support. Of course, you always would want to have at least one of the 5 of your librarians to be a support. Either use Yan or Nikolai or both. Doesn't really matter too much, but one of the best support. This will just be used for, this guy will be just used for the passive, but I think the passive is actually pretty good because of the what does this have? Oh, okay, it has the when gaming smoke using combat pages, gain 1 additional stack, so you can gain a lot more stacks quickly. And then the thought gear is pretty good. Evade dice power +1. I think it's the only passive that has the evade dice power +1. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I think that's it. Anyways, yeah, pretty good for its use on the of the passives. And then of course red mist, purple tear, these are like the staple of the game. I think the game is like centered around these guys and like very key characters. On top of that, like key mechanics. Also, like purple tear, she has the only 4 deck. She is the only 4 deck page. So you can build a total of 4 decks. So a slash, pierce, blunt, and defense decks. So all of those decks you can have, and then you can change your stance as you play the game, depending on your situation. And purple tier is just like, I think even better than the ensemble characters. Better than at least most of the ensemble characters. I feel like as a page, like not as a character but as a page, the purple tier is better than Argalia's page. So yeah, that speaks for itself. Red Mist, of course, no real, like, there's no argument here. She has the strongest passive, so that speaks for itself. Not going to talk too much about that because it just speaks for itself. And then we move on to the next row. We have, oh my god, what is this? This is Lowell, Cecile, May. Lowell, Cecile is this is Cecile and May. The first one, the first new association is, I mean, it's fine. Whenever like, so these guys, they have the, whenever emotion level rises, they get this benefit. So what you want to do is to kill them quickly. Of course, that can be challenging because, well, you can't really kill them quickly since it's quite difficult to actually do that. And they have the fervor with offensive dice gain +1 power as the emotion level 3 or above, so that makes it even challenging to do that. But eventually you can. It's not that bad. Lowell, I think it's a I would think just put it here. It's fine. Like I would put it maybe like, wait, what's his name? Esther, Gloria, and Hubert. After Hubert, Cecile has the recover HP when emotion level rises, and May has a recover stagger resist when emotion level rises. Wait, what? I thought, oh, in the fight, Lowell has recover stagger resist and recover health when emotion level rises, but as a page, he doesn't have that. I think so. I may be wrong, but I think so. But so as a page, it's not really good. But like for these guys, they're really good with their passives. But as individual pages, they're not. They're a little bit lacking. We'll put it like this. These can be like pretty good. Still, this, well, here. Yeah, I mean, like, it's to be expected. But yeah, it's to be expected. So there's no real like issue with those. I don't think. Okay, next we have Chun, Miris, and Liu section 1 fixers page. So Chun, I mean, I don't really know like the difference. Let's see, what's the difference here? At the start of the scene, 2 random combat pages in hand gain the following effect while this page is being used. Inflict twice as much burn with combat page abilities. Okay, nice. This is the... So we actually get to burn. And I think Mirrors also has burn. When target hit by melee attacks from this character, take burn damage at the end of this scene they were attacked. They also take stagger damage equal to half the burn damage. So like getting having some effects from Cell, but like a weaker effect from Cell. Yep, so Chun and Mirrors, I think they can be used for their passives, but they can also be used for their page. So we'll put it on B here, both of them. And of course, Cell, one of the staple key pages to be used. But I think just the thing here is that Cell is a little bit weak because her pages, at least like the pages the burn pages that I was using, they aren't that strong with their dice powers aren't that strong. She only gets more power when she has more emotion levels, and it's quite difficult to get to emotion level 4 where she can really take off. So there's a little bit of iffiness going on with Cell, but I mean overall, like with the burn immunity, with like all the mass attack pages, she's just good, like really good. But just a caveat is that, I mean, yeah, it's good, but it's like, I mean, there's a little bit of weak. She may be a little bit weaker. She may be a little bit weaker than these guys here. Even Yan, but Yan is a support. So I mean, support. It's a support. Come on, like don't be too hard on the support. Okay, next we have our final row. So we start off with Nemo, Martina, and Bada. Nemo actually has a good revival, I think. At this point, you're like actually you might actually get killed quite easily, and you can recover some, like almost all of your HP if you have at least 20 charge. So if you have 20 charge, you're gonna be recovering 100 HP, and he only has 94 max HP anyway, so he would actually get all of his HP back. So yeah, I mean, like, he's good, but and you do like his pages, his charge pages are actually helpful in that, yeah, pretty good. You get the charge pages that you get here, very nice. So, and he's a good page that you can rely on to use for like some fights against the R-Corp. Yeah, they are R-Corp, or some of the other fights. It's a pretty decent page. Martina, Heavy-Hearted Forte, deal 1 to 2 stagger damage to opponent upon you winning a clash. Not too bad. Has charge shield and emotion and energy discharge. So those have something to do with charge. So as long as you build charge decks, they're decent pages. So I mean, like, they're decent pages. So I will just put them. I guess we'll put them here, like here. Both of them. What is the difference between Bada? Force field. After spending charge using combat page, gain 1 protection. So, and the other like passives are the same. I feel like the protection, it's better than the offensive. So this is my playstyle. I really like defense. Defend a lot, and then you don't take damage, and you just kill the opponent. So next we have Nikolai and 3, what do you call these guys? 3 animals? So yeah, I guess animorphs. Almost animorphs like things. Nikolai, one of the greatest supporting cards pages. I've used Nikolai until the very end. It's always good. His passive, it's insanely good. With the what's that thing called? That there was a passive. The commander, if the character has 11 or more charge at the start of the scene, gain 1 strength and endurance to all allies. And I believe that also includes himself. And also, there is the other one, finishing touch. After using a combat page on a target, leave a mark on them at the end of the scene. The marked enemy takes 50% additional damage and stagger damage from attacks. Only one enemy can be marked at a time. Even though only one enemy can be marked, it's a 50% extra damage, and you're dealing a lot of various different hits. 50 damage, like sometimes, like in this point of the game, the enemies, they have endured. Sometimes they're ineffective with their defenses, so every single point of damage would count towards actually killing them in the end. So that 50% damage on top of you. Obviously, you would use smoke as well. The smoke also amplifies the damage, so 50% also times the smoke percentage, depending on how many smoke stacks that you have. So very good against like enemies like the Angela, Roland. I would say like some of the single targets, like the Yan fight, it's good too. Sales fight, Red Mist, it's good. They're all very nice targets for that, because there is only one target for your team to kill them. Alright, so these three here, I think Meal's passive is just... Meal's passive with the Red Mist is so good that I think I'm just gonna put Meal here. Just because of the passive. She can be used as a key page, as a page to be equipped, but the passive and with the Red Mist, you're just getting free power from the passive. That's just free power. Nothing else to say there. These two, I find that it's quite difficult to accumulate charge stacks on the reindeer. Well, it's okay-ish to accumulate the charge attacks on the rhino. Because the reindeer spends charges with his attacks. So the what's it called? So Rudolph, Mind Whip, and Mind Crush. So Mind Whip spends 3 charge to deal stagger damage. Mind Crush needs 20 charges. Mind Whip, I think there was also another card that spends 3 charge to deal some stagger damage. So you're constantly spending charges, and you're not really gaining charges. Meanwhile, with the Maxim, you can actually, because he doesn't have his page, Rhino Ram actually gives him charge, gain on hit, gain 8 charge. So you can actually accumulate your 20 charges quite quickly. So Ground Crash can actually work. But other than that, Ground Crash is 13 to 22 damage. It's not great. It's not and it's mass summation, so it's not great. But I mean, it's something that you can use. At least in the middle floors, there are 3 different tiers for the start of the city. So at least for the middle section, pretty nice I've used these guys. I think for the like middle to later half of the Star of the City, and then after I got like my good team. So my good team is purple tier, Nikolai, Jan. If I'm using red, the Gabra's floor, so Gabra or Red Mist. So Red Mist, Jan, Nikolai, purple tier, and the Cell. So those that would be my team. I've also used the 3 proxies. So Esther, Gloria, Hubert, and then plus some like maybe Jan. If I have Jan, if I don't have Jan, like maybe some of these other ones, like this guy. This guy is pretty nice, and like maybe an Ujat's page, or maybe like one of these, like one of the Arena, Alan, or Yai. Those are okay, pretty good pages. So, or just use one of these two. So it's so these are like pretty decent, or even like, oh yeah, and there's this guy too, Nemo. It's a pretty good page. So like overall, I think there aren't that many bad pages, like really terrible pages. I think I will put it here like this. These guys obviously not gonna be used much. The C tier is like can be used for their passives, but as pages themselves can be used, but not as obviously not as powerful as these pages here. But as you can see, you have a lot of choices at your disposal. There are a lot of choices, and you can build a lot of different decks, different teams, because at this point I think you at maximum you can be required to use 3 floors with you need to kill 3 acts with 2 floors. I think there was one with 3 acts with 1 floor. Obviously with the red mist purple tier, you actually do get 3 floors to kill that 1 act. But like I think for the Rudolph, the R Corps, you need to do a lot with like 2 floors. You need to deal with I think for the final third fight with the R Corp, you need to deal with 4 acts, and you can only use 2 floors. So it's a little bit troubling, but if you have red mist just kills everything. Yeah, so like I think you just have a lot of options and at your disposal for the eventual Imperatus Civitatis fights and the eventual ensemble fights. So like there are just a lot of options. I think this is to prepare for the ensemble fights, so that limits you, especially for the bottom floors where you had to build 4 teams of 5, and each of those teams have to be decent enough to beat the bosses at each of those floors. Yeah, I mean it's a lot of this is, I guess, where the challenge is, and this is where it starts to weed out the weak, and only those with strong minds can survive. So finally, we have the final key page. Of course, we have Bina. You do unlock Bina I think you unlock Bina right after you beat the red mist. So you unlock red mist, and you unlock Bina. But I mean, comparing Bina with Red Mist or Gamera, I would say it's like it's like comparing apples with pears. But yeah, like I would put Bina here. It's good. It's like, don't get me wrong, it's a good page, but it's she just lacks so much with the light regeneration. She has good light regeneration, but there's something wrong with the page that that I'm not sure about. I mean, she has 3 freaking light regeneration cards, but you just can't really get enough light for some reason. Of course, because her passive doesn't really help that much. As a service scene draw until 4 pages are in hand, and she only starts with 4 pages in hand, so there's that. But with like her degraded chains, degraded lock, and degraded pillar, they are okay, not too bad, but and they all do different things by themselves. And she is, I believe, the best range deck out there. But still, like, this is why I say that range decks are just on the lower tier than melee decks, because of this stupid, like, if you compare Bina with Red Mist or Gebra, there's just a large difference between the two. Even like, especially in the last fight against the head, Gebra, like, at least for me, Gebra does all the work and Bina just helps out a little bit. Yeah, so yeah, it is what it is. So with that has been all of the key pages for Star of the City. If you enjoyed this video, please do consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video. It will really help me a lot, and considering this is a very long one as expected, it took me 1 hour on the recording to go through all of this. So like the video, subscribe, and I will see you guys tomorrow for the final Imperatus Civitatis final level of Library of Ruina key pages. And for those of you who are watching in the future, there is a playlist right beside this video on the other key pages for the other levels that I have done in the past, so click on that and I will see you there. Peace.